On the same story, Martha, about 1,000 Special Forces veterans demanding answers about the attack in Benghazi. They have signed a massive petition unfurled on the Hill this week. It calls for an end to what the group considers a cover-up. Colonel Dick Brauer Jr. is the co-founder of Special Operations Speaks. He's also a U.S. Air Force veteran. Sir, good morning and welcome to our program here.
Good morning, Bill. It's wonderful to be here.
You signed that scroll, you signed that petition. What does it say?
Okay, the scroll is actually a reflection of a letter on the 8th of April that we sent to the House of Representatives to act as a catalyst to sponsor House Resolution 36, Congressman Wolf's bill, which is now being supported by Congressman Stockman's discharge petition. And what that letter says basically is that the special ops community, now joined by the conventional community and patriots, want to know the truth for the families, for the fallen, and for the veterans that have been sent a terrible message that we don't have your back, we don't have your six. That scroll is a copy of that letter with 700 plus and now approaching 1,000 signatures from Lieutenant General to every other rank of special operators that want to know as well. So we are the tip of the spear trying to speak for the American people, the fallen, and the families of the 4 that died unnecessarily, or 2 did especially, our SEALs, in Benghazi.
You are leading a powerful group of Americans. And what do you believe is being hidden? What do you think the truth is? What don't we know?
Given the opportunity, we asked about 24 questions, but if I had to prioritize, given the time limit, we need to know who issued the order, when they did it, and why. Stand down. Stand down, stand down, because those were orders, to quote a president, a real commander-in-chief. Those were our words that will live in infamy, because once the balloon went up and the ambassador called for help in fear of his life, I know that Special Operations Forces who have trained and bled to do these types of missions were standing by, champing at the bit, waiting for the command from the highest authority through their command chains, such as AFRICON, to go to the sound of the guns and begin to get there perhaps in a fighters first and boots on the ground, to quote General Dempsey later. Get there, find out. If you uncover that, who did it? Why did they do it? Was it political for election purposes? And when did they do it? That will break open the box that's holding the puzzle pieces that are Benghazi.
We are about 10 months removed from it now. Will you get that answer, do you believe?
If we get a select committee with subpoena power, and most importantly, as was emphasized yesterday at a meeting I attended, with the requisite clearances for the people that are on that select committee, similar to what went on with the grand jury in Watergate, but nobody died at Watergate. That was an electronic crime. If we get that, if we get those through, if you find out who issued that stand-down order, and it has to come from the top, the President or the Secretary of Defense, known as our National Command Authorities, that will break open that locked puzzle box, and we will find out the truth of what happened that night, and we lost our SEALs in particular in the 7th to 8th hour of that tragedy.
Well, I want to get you to react to this too. General Carter Ham was speaking this week. He was head of U.S. forces in Africa at the time, and he said immediately he knew this was not a demonstration, it was a violent attack, and he considered it a terrorist attack from the early moments of it once he got word. But he also said that a quick response was not possible, and he defended the decision not to scramble fighter jets. What do you think of that answer?
Well, I would ask you to call Lieutenant General McInerney, who was the Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force and Deputy USAFE, as I recollect. But he flew F-16s out of Aviano, and he has gone on record, and he is with us and backs us. And F-16s could have been launched with extra gas, refueled, hot refueled, in other words, don't shut down the engines, more gas, at Sigonella, and been there in a few hours. Right overhead, low altitude, full afterburner. It would have scared the hell out of anybody. And then follow on with what General Dempsey asked for, and that's boots on the ground. And that was our team of 7 people that were in Tripoli that were told to stand down to defend Tripoli when the threat and the action was at Benghazi. I have inside information, and from people that were there, they could have got there. It could have been done. Okay. You have to remember it was 7 hours in the 7th hour when our 2 SEALs were killed by 2 mortar shells.
Colonel, thank you. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your service.